Hi guys. Today I'd like to talk to you about retail media and co-marketing, why we are doing this at Douglas, how we are doing it, and why I think that co-marketing will be relevant for almost all of us in the future as it's becoming part of our online marketing mixes. A few words about myself. I'm responsible for 3 departments at Douglas. So on the one side, the online marketing teams, SEO, SEA, display affiliate, which we do in-house for 20 countries. Then we have the data intelligence part, where we do web analysis, marketing technologies, and data management. And out of those 2 departments, so doing online marketing in a very data-driven way, we thought, okay, we can also do this for our suppliers and build a retail media business. So we founded our little spin-off, Beauty Media Solutions, in last summer, and this is what I mainly will talk about today. I will start with a very quick overview over Douglas' numbers and e-commerce situation, why we decided to do it, and then focus on the channels, how we do retail media, and how we do co-marketing. So, as you can see, Douglas is still in a very comfortable situation. This is our e-com revenue across all countries, in millions of euros across the last 20 years, and you see there's still significant growth in it. And a very, very important number is in the pink bubble. You see 30% of our sales in Germany are online. That means that 70% are still offline brick-and-mortar business. And this offline business is stable, it's not decreasing, and the growth, of course, comes from the e-com business. And then we went ahead and said, okay, we want to grow even further in e-commerce. How do we do this? So we went from a transaction focus, which is our current retail business, like selling inventory from L'Oreal, Dior, Chanel, all the huge brands that you know, and our own brands to the customer. And now we switch to an audience focus. So still having the retail business, but adding first of all a marketplace business, which we did last year. So now we have a curated marketplace live where other retailers are allowed to sell on Douglas. So you have a lot of more SKUs to sell, you have a lot of more traffic on your website, and get a broader audience. We also enriched this on the very right with services. For example, beauty booking services for a few cities. Berlin was the first. So if you have nothing to do tonight, feel free to book a beauty service. And by doing this, we get a broader audience and also more data touch points of the customer. And out of this story, we said, okay, we want to create an additional profit pool, an additional revenue stream by doing retail media, doing media sales based on data. And if you think of everyone who's familiar with the Amazon business model and how they earn money, if you think of the pillars, retail, marketplace, services, retail media, you will find some similarities with a focus on beauty. And Amazon is a perfect example because I always start with this quote from Jeff Bezos, who said last year that Google might know what you're interested in buying. Facebook might be able to deduce what you'd be inclined to buy, but Douglas, of course, knows what you actually bought or whether you showed intent to buy. Of course, he mentioned Amazon, but it's the same story for beauty. And if you now think of all the huge retail media companies that we have, like Amazon, Alibaba, or in Germany, Otto, Zalando, who are doing a great job, they have digital business models. If you think back to my first slide with this 30 and 70%, we still have the offline business, which is really a USP and makes this very, very interesting. How do we do this? So, we have a data management platform in place since 2018, and we do 3 things in this data management platform. First of all, we get our data sources together. So we have, of course, the e-com data, everything that happens on our website, which is like what products have you looked at, what have you put into the basket, what have you actually bought. This is not rocket science to do retargeting on this, we probably all do this. But now it gets interesting, we also have store data, everything that happens offline. And the key factor in this whole story is our beauty card. We have more than 40 million people who have a beauty card and more than 10 million in Germany. So you can say almost everyone who buys at Douglas has this beauty card. And this gives us the chance to match your offline sales with your online sales. And we can put it together and see, thanks to our beauty card, which you use in the checkout in the store and which is linked to your online account, we can have the full view of a customer journey, omni-channel, online and offline. So 70% more data for us. Then we go ahead, second step, we can build segments. Everyone who worked with the DMP knows this. You can build segments within your data pools and say, okay, let's take the social demographic infos. Let's take the infos, what have they bought, the categories, the brands, the average order value, the recency with which people buy, all enriched by the offline data. And now imagine our huge brands that we sell. They launch new fragrances, for example. This happens quite often. And what do? They run huge media campaigns. They're really great in building branding awareness. But whenever it gets to the conversion part, it gets tough for them, as we are the point of sale and they are not. So imagine they go to their media agency or directly to Facebook, YouTube, whoever, and they advertise on their target group, let's say women between 20 and 30. And then they advertise on them. And now we can jump in and say, okay, we also have women between 20 and 30, but we can give you women between 20 and 30 who buy fragrance regularly at Douglas in a similar price range, but never bought your brand before. And this target group is more relevant than I think anything else they can get when it comes to targeting for their new products. And this is basically the story behind it. Building those relevant segments, of course also for our own advertising, but especially for our suppliers. And the third and obvious part, if you have a DMP and you build your segments, you can push it to all your marketing channels and advertise on it. And that's the data story behind our retail media business and why we have a DMP in place. Now I want to focus on the channels. What do we have in our retail media business? The first thing is what I just mentioned. We call it the offsite, the audience network, where we advertise based on DMP segments for our suppliers. Just one slide ahead. I'm not going into detail. You all know these channels. You all know the opportunities that you have there, just enriched by a very, very good targeting. So, second and third part of our retail media business is the on-site part in the middle, where we have additional placements on Douglas, and the third part, co-marketing, where brands and retailers collaborate and run campaigns together. Now, coming to the on-site part, sponsored product ads is very, very simple. You just sell some of your products in the category listing. So we went ahead and we took our category page, we added ad slots on the first two results, we went on our search result page and we added ad slots within the listing. You all know this, and if you go on Amazon, probably you won't find a slot in your fold that is not sold anyhow. So absolutely makes sense for us to add a CPC model there. It's very, very relevant for the brands, and it's additional money for us. And so everyone who has a shop and has relevant reach, it definitely makes sense to monetize your audience that you have on your category pages, on your search result pages, maybe even on your product detail pages if your suppliers allow you to do. But that's additional revenue. And if you now take away the marketing side, the user perspective, and go to the financial perspective of this, everything that I mentioned before, where we run external campaigns, we act like a media agency, so the big part of the money ends up at Facebook, YouTube, Google, wherever. In this case, we are the placement, or if it's your shop, you are the placement, so the money stays in your pocket, and it's almost 100% profit. So additional revenue and additional profit to monetize your website with sponsored product ads, and relatively easy to implement. Where it gets more complicated, this is like the advanced thing that we want to do this year, is also to put the on-site part based on audiences. Having audience ads that use the DMP segments I mentioned in the beginning to advertise on Douglas, so you do not say anymore, I want to advertise on the fragrance category page, but I want to advertise on any user on Douglas who buys fragrance on a regular basis and a certain amount of money and so on. So building the segments and also advertising on them on-site. Also additional profit, almost 100% profit. So very, very interesting for us. And the last part, and this is basically interesting for almost every online marketing, I think, because we have a huge trend there. Co-marketing. There wasn't a solution in the past, so we did like a workaround. It's a very simple story. We just say, okay, dear industry partner, L'Oreal, Estée Lauder, Coty, just give us money. We spend it, mainly on Google, for pushing ads that contain your products in different kind of ways. And after we did this, we report the KPIs back to you, and we hope we all have great results. Sounds very simple, first of all. To show you a few examples, for example here, a brand site link. This is like the very, very, very basic thing. It's your own brand. If you have a relevant search volume on your brand, monetize your site links. We went ahead, and in this example, we have a Hugo Boss product that is advertised through our site link. Very, very important reach for them and additional money for us. And for everyone who handled an AdWords account in this room knows how much effort it is to integrate this site link and also to report it. So this is very simple and very simple made money. On the right side, it's one step ahead in the funnel where we say, okay, we can also push your products on categories, for example, on search terms in the upper or mid funnel, in this case perfumes or fragrance. We push a Donna Karan New York product on the first spot of the AdWords auction. We would never do this on our own because it obviously doesn't make sense to advertise with a product there. Everyone would use the category page as a landing page. Nevertheless, it's still an important user for Douglas because he's interested in fragrance, and for Donna Karan New York, it's very, very important reach. So we're fine with advertising because they fund it. So they have an ad, they have a good performance, a good reach, and we have traffic for free that is highly relevant. So, and what now happened is that Google stepped into this co-marketing and retail media world. And I think they did it because retail media obviously is a big threat to them. Because what happens when retail media comes in our marketing mixes, people start spending their money on Amazon, on Otto, on Zalando. They have to get their budget from somewhere else. It's not 100% incremental, so it's a budget shift. And as Google is probably the biggest marketing spender from all of us, it's obviously their budget. So they stepped into this with a very good solution, which they call shopping campaigns with partners. And this means that you have co-funded campaigns in Google Shopping. You have the retailer, so Douglas in this case, and the manufacturer, for example, L'Oreal or Chanel on the other side. And we all both have our Google accounts, of course, and they can stay. You link them, and then it's splitted up who does what in this campaign. So it's basically about pushing products of the manufacturer in Google Shopping. The manufacturer controls, of course, the budget they want to spend, which products, so which SKUs, and in which time frame should this be done. We, on the other side, we control the bidding, we control the targeting, we actually run the campaign in our account. And the very, very important part of it is the reporting is in both accounts and you can automatically access it. Because think back to my co-marketing example where there was the arrow with report KPIs. What happens after you started the campaign? Of course, your manufacturer calls you every day and says, how's the performance? Can you send me a report? Can you send me a report? Can you send me a report? Of course, I would do the same. But it's very much effort on our side. It's also effort on their side. And now both sides can just log in and see the performance live in their Google account. The costs are split, and you can define the split on your own. So you can say we do 50-50. You can say we do 99-1. Or in this case, let's assume we do 75-25 split. So the budget of 100K would be split 25K by Douglas, 75K by the industry partner. Also broken down on the CPC level, if we have a CPC of $2, we pay 50 cents, the manufacturer pays 1.5. And that leads, first of all, of course, to better performance because you share the costs, so your ROAS is much higher. But you also have the transparency on the manufacturer side. And this is also a huge story in this retail media and co-marketing context. Everyone who works for a brand and doesn't have their own point of sale knows this. They have not much data transparency when it comes to conversion. And now they have an interface where they can log in and see immediately which products are sold, what's the basket value, how's the conversion rate, the click rate, and all those kind of metrics that they would love to optimize on, but they couldn't do in the past, or they had to rely on us creating a reporting and send it over to them. So this is not just about splitting the costs, it's also about sharing the transparency. Example for the user, just to make sure no user ever sees anything about this. The shopping ad is as it used to be. You have the douglas.de in the URL. It's their product, and for the user, it's completely the same. So from the outside, you will never see if it's a co-funded ad or not. Everything stays the same. So. And if you now think back on all these touch points that I mentioned that we do in retail media, so doing external media campaigns based on our data, doing sponsored product ads and audience ads on-site, and then running co-marketing campaigns in shopping in the lower funnel or maybe in the upper funnel in search keywords. If you think of our funnel or of a customer life cycle, whenever we have a customer, if it's his digital footfall, so his first page view that he has, or if he already is activated, if he bought something, if you want to replenish something, beauty is perfect for replenishment cases. So fashion doesn't need to be replenished like this, but your mascara, your makeup, your fragrance, it's empty and you know when it is empty. So replenishment cases, and also reactivation of inactive customers. All these cases that we have in activating a user can be covered through certain retail media or co-marketing campaigns. And this is very, very important for our suppliers and important to understand. To sum this up, a quick overview which companies we do this with. And if you look at the names, you will see that these are all companies that we actually sell. So these are our suppliers. We buy their products and we sell them, and we do retail media first with them, of course. But if you now think back to my very first or second slide where I mentioned the marketplace and the services, so becoming a beauty platform instead of just being a retailer. Now imagine we have marketplace partners on. That means we have new retailers and a lot of new brands on our website that we haven't had before. So also a huge potential for retail media and for co-marketing, and also the reason why we did marketplace and retail media at the same time. Because if marketplace expands, retail media will expand with it. And that's basically the story behind it, why we started this business and why we went into retail media and also into the co-marketing business. So that's it. Thank you very much, first of all, and happy to answer some questions.